Hey there everybody, I'm going to bring you some combos and synergies this week so that you can get some ideas of some cool combos and things that you may not necessarily know about. You may already know about some of these, but there are a lot of players out there that are just getting into the game and kind of want to see some cool little interactions that you can make. And near the end I might actually include some cards that have been spoiled from Opus 2 as well, so you've got that to look forward to. So I'm going to go straight into it, and the first interaction that I'm going to point out to you guys is a really nice little bit between the Emperor of Darkness and Huge. Now, Emperor is a really strong card, and he's just really good at maintaining the ability to have a board at all times, unless there's more than one copy of him in your hand. That could be a massive problem for people who are playing copies of Emperor of Darkness. So if you play Huge as well as him, then Huge allows you to kind of get rid of dead copies of Emperor. If you already have one on the board, then you definitely don't want another copy in your hand, so you can put him onto the bottom of your deck so that you can still search for a copy of him should your copy of the Emperor die. Now this works with actually any Dark and Light card, you know, because you don't necessarily want to have lots of the same copies of a card in your hand. Huge is just a really good card for filtering. So I'd definitely bear him in mind if you plan on playing Emperor or a lot of any other Dark or Light card. Now the next one is a little more complex in terms of rules, because we kind of went over this a while ago when I was building a deck that had this card in it. And it's an interaction between Fairy or Sylph and Yuna. Fairy is better, but I'll explain why in a second. Now when you play Fairy, you activate a forward and you draw a card. And Yuna says when you cast a summon, you may dull Yuna in order to draw a card. Now because of the way that the stack works, it's very similar to how Magic the Gathering works. You activate Fairy, so Fairy's ability is then on the stack, and then you activate Yuna in response to Fairy being summoned, which then she goes first, she dials herself and you draw a card, and then Fairy then resolves, because the chain or the stack always resolves backwards. You then activate your unit and draw another. So therefore it kind of turns Fairy into like a reverse Moogle. So you, instead of dropping one, drawing two, dropping one, and then losing the Moogle in the process, you're instead just dropping Fairy and drawing two. Now that's a really good kind of key thing for card advantage, so I definitely keep in mind this unit for any card, any deck that has water in it, and because it's a singular colour card with two cards, so a singular colour combo with two cards, you can run this in any water deck if you want. Now this next combo is actually one of my favourites, and it's something that I really wish I'd invested more heavily in when I played back in London in December, and it's the interaction between Deleter or Kefka and any on-death effect. So that includes Vanille, that includes Golbez, who's extremely popular, and it also includes Geomancer on a much smaller scale. Now Deleter, when he comes in, breaks one of your characters. Doesn't have to be a forward, but for the purpose of this argument it's always going to be one. But he's a 9k guy for 3, which is very strong. So if you can turn that disadvantage into an advantage by, say, using Vanille or Golbez to then get more guys out of doing so, you're basically getting a 9k guy for free who can bring out more guys for you, and that's just really good. Kefka, similarly, actually does something in a very similar way, just slightly to a different end. He just gives your guy more power, but he kills it at the end of the turn. So let's say you're going with a Geomancer, who's 6k. You attack with your Geomancer. If your opponent decides to block it with something bigger, you go, cool, Kefka in response, I'll make my guy bigger and it kills yours. My guy's going to die at the end of the turn, but I'm going to draw a card out of it. Chances are, unless one of your guys is one of the guys that has an effect when he dies, you're not going to get anything out of it. So I think that this is an extremely solid play, and if it's Vanille that you're doing this with, it's all under Earth, so you can play this in any Earth deck, and I think it's really strong. Now this one's another one for the rulings books. Now we went over this when I did this in my Icewind Mist deck list, which I'll leave a link to in the description box. And it's the interaction between Kuja and Aerith. Now we got a confirmation of this rule from Kageyama back over in Japan, and this does work. So let's say your opponent wants to target your Kuja with a Alexander, because it's one of the few things that can kill him, and you have an Aerith on the board. When you play Alexander, in order to target him you have to discard a card. Now because it's an additional cost effect, this has to come before anything else that happens on the stack. So therefore, if you then Aerith, and you make it so that Kuja can't be targeted at all, which in this game it works the same as Magic, it means that the Alexander the opponent has played has fizzled. It means that your opponent has not only lost their Alexander for no reason, they've also lost a card from their hand because it cost them more to target Kuja in the first place. So it does mean that if you have a Kuja and an Aerith on the board, you have a practically indestructible Kuja. And to me, that's really good. I don't know about you guys, but like, I would definitely play this, and I have done, and it's shown me a great amount of success. Now this isn't so much a combo as kind of like a perfect circle synergy. If you have Lan, Brynhilda, and Legendary Squall out, so this is under Fire and Ice, you end up with a very, very strong board. The reason for this is as follows. Now, if you are attacking with Vaan, that means that Vaan can't be blocked by anything that's bigger than him. So anything that's 8k or above, you don't have to worry about. If there's something smaller than him, because he can't kind of deal with, he doesn't want to deal with things that are smaller than him because he wants to be attacking and not left behind for blocking, then you have Squall, who can just eliminate them before they've even tried to do anything because of his ability to deal damage before the damage step actually happens. And for anything that's 7k on the dot and can kill Vaan, you have Brunhilde, who can kill that. So if you have all three of these cards out, there is not a unit in the game that can realistically be able to get past your board. And it's just a very, very... It's not unbreakable, not at all. You can kill one of the forwards and it ends up breaking it apart slightly. But it does mean, however, that you can apply pressure with these three cards better than you probably can with any other combination of cards in the game. Now this is another one of my favourite combos, and it's one that I feel that I need to explain because people didn't agree with me when I tried to do this, where it was in my deck back in December in Save the Queen, which again I'll leave a link to in the description box if you want to see how that deck planned out, and it would be slightly different from that now, by the way. And this is the interaction between Ultima and bounce effects, namely Leviathan and 5-drop Yuna. Now the reason that you play 3 of both of these cards in your deck if you're playing Ultima is because Ultima makes it so that forwards come in dull, which is a lot stronger in this game than say it would be in Magic, seeing as the only real way to deal damage is with a forward attacking. There's no burn effects, there's no direct damage to the player or anything like that, thank God. But because there's only the 7 points of damage, she basically puts your opponent on a clock very quickly, and Leviathan and Yuna extend that clock dramatically. The way that you do that is you wait for their forward to activate again, because they come in dull, you attack them with your Ultima or whatever other forwards you have out at the time. Their turn then comes around and they reactivate and they go to attack you. You go, nope, sorry, back to your hand. And it not only means that they lose advantage because they have to pay for their card again, but it comes back in dull again, which means that they've lost another turn. This is essentially kind of time skipping in... Well, it's quite appropriate really, given that it's Ultima, but it's just basically making your opponent skip their turn every other turn for as many Leviathans and Yunas as you've got, and that's crazy powerful to me. Now this next combo I absolutely love. Somebody actually brought this to my attention, I didn't come up with this or anything, but oh my god, I need to play this deck now. And this is the interaction between Sid Reigns and Scholar. Now, Sid Reigns on his own, he's not that great, really being realistic, but when he comes in, he deals 4k to a dull forward. Now, he also sets up a floating effect after that. That means that if that forward dies, they have to your opponent has to discard a card from their hand. Now, let's say you have a Scholar out at the same time. You play Sid, burn a guy for 4k, someone who's 8k or less, obviously, and then you Scholar and kill the Scholar to put the Sid Reigns back in your hand, and then because that effect hasn't left, that floating effect has been applied, you then play the Sid again, and you deal 4k to the same dull forward, and if you kill it, they have to discard 2 cards out of their hand. So that's just a really cheap and effective discard combo that can kill a guy and drop 2 cards out of their hand for 2 cards, both of which cost 2. I need to play this, like, now, and I love it. So I really hope that you guys enjoy it as much as I will. Now this next one is a combination of cards that allows you to use Kefka again, but it uses Kefka in a way that means that you don't have to worry about the after effects. So even if you are running all of these nice combos with Deleter and Kefka and Golbez, etc, you don't have to kill the guy if you don't want to. And this is Titan. Now I didn't really like Titan for ages, but knowing his interactions with things like Kefka and Deleter, this works with Deleter as well actually, because Deleter says choose a forward, then break it. So the cost is actually just to choose the forward. The breaking is the effect, and Titan says that the target can't be broken, so therefore it means that you don't have to worry about that. And with Kefka it's even better, because you could swing with a guy and then not really want to block it because they think, oh no, it's fine because your guy's going to die at the end of the turn anyway. And then you turn around and go, Titan at the end of the turn, and they go, ah, your guy's still there. That's a problem for me. And I just really love, I think Earth and Water are 2 of the most sort of combo-tastic colours, and I really like that. Wind has a lot as well, but I think Wind is going to come up and have a lot in the next set, which I'm going to get to in a minute. Now we're going to go into a couple of combos now, just to round off the video, that are including cards that we don't actually have yet, because they've been spoiled for Opus 2, but we don't actually have them in our hands just yet. And this first one is, again, with Ultima, and it involves Ashe. who was recently spoiled, and oh my god, I love this card. She's just, for a 3-drop, and the fact that she's only hero rarity, she is dumb. She is so good. And the reason that she pairs really well with Ultima is because she can activate herself. She doesn't need any outside influence. You can play an Ashe under your own Ultima and not have to worry about it. At absolute worst, you're going to have to discard a card to stop your opponent from attacking you. But just by her being there and being able to activate herself, your opponent's not going to attack you while you have that. And because of her ability to boost herself when she gets targeted by anything, chances are your opponent's not going to do a lot to her either. So it's just a massive barricade, and it's something that you can just continually attack with your Ashe, maybe your Ultima as well if you're feeling fancy, and just not have to worry about it. The promo Lightning that was revealed also works really well with this, but I actually wanted to kind of push Ashe into this because she's also water, and she means that you can just do this under one colour, and that's always a nice thing to add. And now this last one is involving the new Vaan. Now we don't have a official kind of English version of Vaan, but he was spoiled in a Japanese magazine fairly recently, and he does as follows. When Vaan attacks, choose one forward that you control. You may return a backup you control of cost 2 or less back to your hand. If you do, you may activate that forward. And Deep Hazard, which is his S ability, which costs S and a wind, activate all wind carriers you control. Now, think about this for a second. Now, a lot of people I've spoken to have said, oh, this looks really, really, really good with mill, like Thief, you can bounce your thieves back to your hand and keep milling your opponent. I'm not a big fan of mill because I think it's really easily broken down, but I've seen other people do it and it works really, really well, so don't take my word as gospel. If you want to run mill, go run mill. My first thought of this was Jill Nabat. Now, just hold on a second with this because it's extremely powerful. Whenever Vaan attacks, you can bounce your Jill back to your hand and then play her again and keep 2 guys locked down, and the forward that you activate to do that could be Vaan himself. You don't need any other outside influences for this combo to work, and it means that you can persistently keep 2 guys locked down every turn. So it means that your opponent has to have at least 3 forwards who have never attacked or can't do anything before they can do it, before they can even move. And you've got this 8k guy just constantly slamming you in the face while they're doing that. And now, coming from someone who plays Ultima a lot, being able to keep your opponents locked down is really important in this game, because obviously if it's almost better than killing it, because if you keep, say, a legendary cloud dulled, they can't play another one. They can't, if you kill it, they can replace it. If you keep it on the field but unable to do anything, they can't move, they can't play another cloud, they'd have to kill their own guy in order to regain that advantage. And I just think that this is so good. And this Vaan is one of the... If this is exactly what it ends up doing in English, but this is an Opus 2 spoiler, it's not from the old game, this is from our game, I need 10 of this Vaan. I think he's amazing. So I really hope that you guys pick this up as well, because just this guy opens Wind up so much, and I'm really looking forward to playing him. And that's it. I only want to do 10 combos this time round. I may do another video that's something similar to this. If you guys have any ideas for combos and synergies that perhaps I haven't listed here, or perhaps you think I might be unaware of, then list them in the comments below, because I love hearing from you guys. So just let me know. I mean, hey, I don't know everything, so just inform me of various different combos. There's loads of little ones that I really love. Like, I like making Bahamut cheaper with Yuna and Fang. I like as I said, all of these combos that I've listed above I've played myself, and I think they're really good, obviously apart from the ones from Opus 2. But I'm just really looking forward to the new set, and hopefully it'll bring us loads of new little toys that gives us combos like this, because I love doing that kind of thing, and I'm a control player, and I like pissing people off, basically. So yes, thank you very much for watching. Join me on the FFTCG fans page if you want to contact me or anything like that, or you can go to my page for Facebook if you want to see anything on there. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much for subscribing if you have. I'm nearly at 2,500 subscribers now, which is phenomenal to me, because I don't understand why 2,500 people would want to watch me. But yes, anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you guys soon. See you later.